Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Yashoda Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder Acharya, BBT founder Acharya, Jagat Guru, Savior of the whole world, Pati Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki. Tantran Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Gorditai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru Garanga and Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhavati Naishiki. Mudyanatividam Dasya Gyanam Chana Chalakaya. Tatsurun Militam Yena Tatsmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prabhuji Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshavarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gauravaktarinda Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Gandhe Girim Yatkupatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramanandamatam Shri Chaitanya. Can I get a BG? Or even the soft version. In chapter 12. Yeah, I'm getting it. 12. Yeah. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Mai Avesha Mano Yema Vidya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetas Eme Yukta Pramamataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their mind on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. In response to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly states that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one in such Krishna consciousness, there is no material activities because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna. Sometimes he cooks prasadam or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna. Or sometimes he watches the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum Shri Guru Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for having me over at your place. At the outset, my apologies for being late, but you can't blame me for that. I did everything on time, but something else happened. Flight got terribly delayed by over an hour. So all my calculations went wrong. So nevertheless, my apologies to you. I would have loved to spend more time here. Last time I did, I don't remember whose house. Maybe his house. One of them. So the last time I came here, I hope you all have excused me and will listen to me now. Genuinely beyond my control. Okay, the last time I came here, I was asked to speak about Vaishnava behavior, Vaishnava conduct, Vaishnava etiquette. Yes? Anybody remembers? Anybody was there in the class that I gave last time? Oh, not that. So I was checking it out with Lilananda Prabhu, and he told me, Prabhu, it would be nice if you could continue the same theme this class also. Vaishnava etiquette, Vaishnava Satsang, Vaishnava behavior, etc. So I said, okay, I will try my best. I will see what we can share on that. So basically, we have to understand that there is this statement which says, Veera Veera Janapriya Karo, Nirmaksaro Pujito. So the Sadhguru Swami Ashtaka, it is said that these great Vaishnavas are liked by the gentlemen. They're also liked by people who are not gentlemen. because of their conduct and behavior and so on. So a Vaishnava is a very special person, very rare, very difficult to find, and very difficult to dislike. In the real sense of the term, if someone is behaving like a Vaishnava ought to be, it's very difficult. So Vaishnava is really a very sweet person to know, sweet, wonderful person to be with, very loving, caring, gentle, etc. And Vaishnavas have a completely different type of a value system. Their mind operates in a very different way. Yes? Hare Krishna. Their mind operates in a very different way, the Vaishnavas, because of years of chanting Hare Krishna, taking Krishna, association of the devotees, reading the scripture. They tend to be very different in the way they analyze things. And like, for example, and also, see, we have to understand that when we speak about Vaishnava etiquette, Vaishnava conduct, it's not just about mannerisms. You know, mannerisms you pick up from going to the right school or something like that. But Vaishnava is much more deeper and profound. That's what he is. You must understand that he's not putting up an act. Sometimes we put up an act of behaving well, doing the right things at the right time, saying the right things, etc. Because we put up an act, we've been taught, we've been told, this is manners, this is whatever, etiquette, this is. So we go through that charade, we go through that game or drama of pretending to be something which we are not. Pretending to be something which we are not. Pretending to be something which we are not. Vaishnava is certainly not like that. It's much more genuine, much more deeper. Okay. I'll give you an example. So when Dhruva Maharaj was insulted by his father, or rather, you can say his stepmother, Suruchi. We all know this story. Suruchi insulted Dhruva Maharaj and told Dhruva Maharaj that young little boy Dhruva said, you can't sit on your father's lap. It's not for you. So Suruchi told him that if you want to sit on your father's lap, you should take birth once again and be born in my womb. Rather, become my child. Only then you are qualified to sit on your father's lap. Already on one lap, his stepbrother is sitting, so Dhruva wants to sit on the other lap. And what hurts Dhruva so much is that his father doesn't say a word. It really shatters him. It shatters him that his father let him down. And young Kshatriya boy, you can imagine, young Kshatriya boys are like lion or tiger or whatever. They're full of this passion. There's so much Rajaguna in them. So it shattered him that his father didn't say a word. And he was heartbroken and went to his mother, Suniti. Suniti looks at this little kid, 5-year-old kid, crying, coming, and she tries to comfort him. But Suniti is also honest, very truthfully honest. She will tell Dhruva that, so that Dhruva doesn't entertain some false hopes, and then he goes and tries the same thing yet again, once more time. So she will tell Dhruva the truth. She will say, I'm sorry, but the sad truth is this, that both of you are born from the same father, but you're born from my womb. He likes Suruchi a lot more than he likes me. So he favors Suruchi's son, Uttama, rather than you. So I want you to understand and learn to accept it. Learn to accept it. You're not the favored child. You may be elder also, but nevertheless, you're not the favored child. So that's the way it is. If you try this again, and she's probably going to do this again, she'll bring you down, she'll put you down, and your father won't say a thing, then you'll feel even more humiliated. Dhruva Maharaj is very perplexed, he says. And then she says something very remarkable, extremely remarkable. Suniti then tells Dhruva Maharaj that, my dear child, I know you're angry. I know you're very upset. I know you're disappointed. I know you're devastated. I know I can feel that anger, bitterness, everything I can see and feel in your heart. But please don't curse them out of anger. Don't say anything. Don't look at them. Don't look at them with any with a mood of anger, bitterness, revenge, anything like that. Please don't do that. That wouldn't be good for you. That isn't how we are supposed to react. I mean, to me, when I first, of course, I'm sure all of you have read, but we are looking at that verse in the context of Vaishnava etiquette, sadachar, behavior. Look at what Suniti is telling her son. Suniti is telling, it doesn't matter. Please learn to accept reality. That your father likes your stepbrother a lot more than he likes you. He likes his. Yeah. Oh no. Very smart question. One is Suniti, one is Guruchi. So she's wanting to know whether sisters or something. According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, it appears that they were not related. They were not related. They were two different women. It's, I don't know, maybe by strange coincidence, they had similar sounding names. But that's where the similarity ends, only in the name. Because Suniti was quite different from Suruchi, very, very different. Suniti was a very gentle lady, a very sweet, gentle, I would say, wise lady. I would say she was a lot more inclined towards Vaishnava, whatever, Sadachar, etiquette, etc., than probably Suniti was, which is why she tells her son, please don't curse them. I can imagine how close you are to cursing them. Please don't do this. Don't do that. Accept this. But Suniti's heart is also broken. So she thinks, what should I do? I should also present the solution to my son. So she tells him that, whatever they do, the Lord is there, Kala is there, Karma is there, that will take care. You don't have to interfere. Nor will Kala, Karma take your help in any way. Not your advice. Leave it. The Lord is watching. The Devatas are watching. Whoever is supposed to watch, make note, they will do what is to be done. No need for you to help them or add to, there's no role for you here. Leave it. Then she tells him that, you see, actually, if you want to look for a remedy, a real long-term remedy from this situation, then you have to pray to the Supreme Lord. He's the only one who's capable of changing the destiny, karma, or other things. So the first question to ask is, so how do I find him? Where is he? How do I get to meet him? How do I address this problem that I have? So then, of course, she instructs him, which is why Suniti almost becomes the first female Diksha Guru. I mean, female Guru, you could say. Oh, no, not exactly Diksha. I'm just saying that because today ISKCON is torn apart by this big debate whether we should have women Diksha Gurus or not. But in a sense of speaking, she becomes the first Guru. I mean, she becomes the Guru for Dhruva. See, for me, a discussion about Vaishnava etiquette has to be a lot more deeper, profound. It has to be, see, Vaishnava etiquette and Sadachar have to be an indication of what is the value system of the person and the society and the community. What is the value system? What is it they believe in? Passionately believe in. What is it they want? So here this lady was telling her little son, don't curse. Take it as it comes. Be gentle. Don't ever do that. There must be some plan of the Lord, some wish of the Lord, some plan of the Lord. You don't mess up your life because of someone else's mistake or someone else didn't treat you the way you wanted them to treat you. Because they didn't treat you the way you wanted them to treat you. Now don't mess up your life any further. Learn to take things in your stride. So one of the first trait of someone who wants to be genuinely, shall we say, properly situated in proper conduct, we should have this kind of a, what can I say, tolerance, wisdom, tolerance, and a kind of a faith in Krishna saying, if this has happened, this must be part of some larger plan of the Lord. Maybe it's meant to teach me some lesson. Maybe it's meant to teach me a lesson. Maybe I did this to someone some lifetime. Or maybe I am still doing something like this in my life. Can I just reflect? Can I introspect? Can I think about it? Rather than going about seeking revenge. So the big question is, how do we build a community which grows on principles of Vaishnava etiquette if we don't understand and respect these values? So Dhruva Maharaj actually does that, and it turned out that it was an arrangement of the Lord that Dhruva would get cursed, and then, Dhruva would be inconvenienced, and then he would go to the forest and find Krishna. The Lord Vishnu would appear in front of him and bless him. So the whole story changes. But let's say if he had resorted to a display of anger or revenge or whatever, I don't know if Dhruva Maharaj would have made it into the pages of the Bhagavatam. So, see, we need to be convinced that we need to go a lot more deeper than manners. It has to do with what we believe in, or rather what we are, what we really are. Vaishnava etiquette is a product of what we really are, what we really believe in, what we want to, independent of whether my neighbor, my friend, my relative, my cousin, or are practicing or not. I don't want to give up. This is the way I am, and this is the way I will continue to be. I'll be gentle. I'll be like this. So that's the kind of advice Suniti is giving to her son Dhruva. So in this one particular example, you can see that well, you see, the point is this. Suniti is saying there could be nasty surprises to you at any time. But Dhruva would have least expected that he's climbing onto the lap of his father, and something like this tsunami or something like this would hit him and insult him and humiliate him. But his mother looked at it in a very, very philosophical, very different manner. So they say that, the first teacher actually is the mother. So unless we have a society where that doesn't mean the father doesn't have any responsibility and he can continue to be whatever he is and the whole world. No, it's not like that. I didn't mean like that way. But the first teacher who has a long bearing influence on the evolution or value system of the child is the mother. So here is this incident, and much later on, see, actually Vaishnava etiquette is not specifically taught in the scripture, in the sense that there's no chapter in Bhagavatam which says Vaishnava etiquette. There's no chapter in the Ramayana which says, okay, here we go. We'll tell you what is Vaishnava. But we need to pull out the principles of Vaishnava conduct of a devotee of the Lord by scanning through various pastimes and utterances and leelas that the Lord displays. Because every leela of the Lord, you can see that there is something about how one should, how our value systems eventually impact our behavior. Without correction at the level of values and faith and conviction and whatever, you can't sustain correction of behavior. Correction of behavior, when it's not, doesn't come from deep down inside, because of value-driven correction of behavior, it won't sustain. You know what I'm trying to say? It won't sustain. It's just, you can react for some time. It's not genuine. You won't even like being like that. But imagine, this Suniti was such an amazingly graceful lady. She packs in so much into her instructions to Dhruva Maharaj: tolerance, patience, think of it as the plan of the Lord. Reversals will happen, but we don't mess up our life because of reversals. expect something like this to happen anytime in anybody's life, because that's the way it is. This world is like that. Then you're really looking for a permanent, change in your whatever, then go to Krishna, go to become a devotee. So much that there, all of which they pulled out from incidents and instances of this nature which are there in the Vedic scripture. Like for example, even the Lord in the way he conducts himself is extremely careful. He doesn't set a bad example. He sets an example of the highest conceivable levels of shall we say loving behavior, loving conduct, loving reciprocation. The highest example of loving reciprocation is what you can see from the Lord. So there's a lesson there. The Lord is not saying, okay, here it is, you've done this mistake. So now let me look up the manual and see for this mistake, what is the punishment that is due for you. So let me go ahead and give. No, that's quite really the last resort. Lord will still say, okay, now what can we do? See, for example, there's a whole different approach. Okay, I'll give another example. There is the 100 sacrifice that Prithu Maharaj is setting out to do. The 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. Now, if he does the 100 Ashwamedha Yajna, what happens to Prithu Maharaj? Tell me. He can become Indra. Oh, all of you know this very well. Okay, he can become Indra. So he's setting out to do the 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. And Prithu Maharaj has started doing it. Indra comes and steals the horse. Ashwamedha. He steals the horse because he wants that Prithu doesn't complete the 100 Ashwamedha Yajna. So he comes and steals the horse, takes it away. And you can imagine Prithu is on the verge of completing that 100th Yajna, how angry and upset he must be. He was very angry, he was very upset. And he's out there, he's trying to chase Indra, catch him, and punish him. He wants to chase Indra, catch him, and punish him. Indra escapes, he doesn't get caught. Actually, I believe, if I remember right, in the Bhagavatam, this happens multiple number of times. He starts the 100 Yajna, again Indra comes and steals. Again, Indra comes and steals. Then finally, when Prithu Maharaj has had enough of Indra and his tactics, he really becomes so violent that he says, this time I'm going to teach him a lesson that he won't forget. Whatever. Prithu becomes extremely angry with Indra. And then what do you expect will happen? The Lord appears in front of Prithu Maharaj, Lord Vishnu appears in front of Prithu Maharaj. He brings Indra along with him. And he tells Prithu Maharaj, what? Why are you after this guy? You should expect that he'll be very nervous. You're doing the 100th Yajna. He might lose his post. You may become the new Indra. What do you expect? You think he'll keep quiet and not react and not do anything about it? After all, he's enjoying being Indra. He's liking being Indra. So what do you expect? He'll just keep quiet and let you snatch the throne from him, and you think he won't do anything? He will certainly react the way he knows, whatever he knows how he will do. And then in a remarkable, sequence of events that unfold at that point of time, the Lord actually chastises Prithu Maharaj. He says, what happened to you? What happened to you? You're not happy? You're not satisfied being the king of this world? You want something more? I detect this whole, it appears to me that you're so ambitious. You want to become the Indra. You want to sit in that throne. There's so much ambition in you. Why are you running after this post? I mean, one would expect that the Lord comes and just, teaches Indra a lesson or whatever. What he does with Indra is a different matter. But the point is that the Lord will come. The Lord will appear in front of Prithu and chastise Prithu. And says, you become like a hardcore materialist. A hardcore materialist running behind an ambition, a position, a power, fame, authority, something like that. What's happened to you? Don't you know all these things are temporary? Don't you know they're not temporary? What's so attractive about it? How is it that you've diluted yourself so much that you're running behind all these things? Now you keep, please forgive Indra. He's nervous. He's so scared to appear in front of you. I brought him along with me. So I brought him here. Please forgive him first. And then, Prithu Maharaj, because of the presence of Vishnu, forgives Indra. And then the Lord continues to instruct Prithu about the nature of the soul, how the soul is permanent, how all these things are temporary, and why we should not pursue all these things, a post, a position, and authority. And he said, these are just material, temporary, transitory. You can be an Indra, but for how long? Someday you're going to give it up. So the point is this. See, so Prithu accepts the chastisement of the Lord. So, see, I'm just giving these two examples because to show you that our understanding of the word Vaishnava etiquette is very different from, let's say, the common parlance, how they understand this word. Here, the Lord expects that if you want to be considered a serious devotee, you should show like sneaky, like Prithu. Like the Lord wanted Prithu to demonstrate a very high level of, what can I say? You have a very high level of inspiration. That means you don't so easily get disturbed by anything material. You should anticipate that there will be some reverses materially. There will always be some reverses. There will always be some temptations, but you will not deviate. So the Lord expects that the genuine serious devotee introspects over these qualities. The Lord is chastising Prithu and saying, he's not saying, oh yeah, it's a very serious thing. Indra shouldn't have stolen. You should complete it. He doesn't even say that once. Even to console Prithu, he doesn't say that. He straight away goes into, says, why are you running up? So, in other words, you can understand that when somebody is completely materially absorbed, how is it possible for him to have either patience or tolerance or anything? How is it possible for him to show any quality or any type of Vaishnava etiquette or Vaishnava concept of tolerance? These things can't come into it. It is not even at all for him to come. Now, the other thing is that, so Prithu is taught this lesson. So now I can ask you a question. So what did we learn from this, from a perspective of Vaishnava etiquette? Yeah, from how Indra was chastised. Prithu was chastised. So what do we learn from a perspective of Vaishnava etiquette? What are the core values that the Lord is driving at? Can someone tell me? Forgiveness. So it should be so deep rooted in you that it's all right, doesn't matter. Maybe he was hungry, maybe he was scared, maybe he was very attached to his post. Forgiveness. Then, yeah.
Being satisfied.
That's a very important point. Krishna specifically tells targets Prithu and says, you're not satisfied, you're the king of the whole world. The whole world is ruling. Then why you want something much? If it by the way comes to you, you take it. But why you trying to grab this from someone who's already sitting there? Being tolerant of material urges or whatever material. What else do you think we can learn from this? From the perspective of Vaishnava etiquette, Vaishnava qualities and sadachar. Tolerant, yeah. There were reversals at times. So accept reversals means what? How do we accept? What do we tell ourselves?
That is the will of the Lord. That is the plan of the Lord.
This may be the plan of the Lord. Maybe it's not good for me to be Indra. Maybe I would have got carried away. Imagine, you're going to that position with so much ambition, so much strong desire. You're fantasizing about it. You're really thinking about it. And you get, who knows, maybe you will do offenses. Maybe you'll get carried away. So, a Vaishnava, see, basically, yeah, what is the need to over-endure for material things? 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. It's not an easy thing. Actually, when Dasharatha Maharaj wanted to do Ashwamedha Yajna, he becomes, he starts thinking very carefully. He says, before we got 4 sons, there was a need for him to do the Ashwamedha Yajna. He becomes very deeply concerned. He says, I'm not so confident that I can do this yajna, that I'll get competent priests and Brahmins and others who will conduct this yajna in a proper manner. Because should this yajna be done in an improper manner, it can produce very negative reactions. So Ashwamedha is not a small thing. Kutumara has done 99. Why you're over endeavoring so much? After all, you're living in a body that's temporary. Krishna is telling Kutu. So we accept it, saying, maybe maybe this Krishna's plan. Maybe it's not good for me to become Indra. Maybe it's dangerous for me. Maybe the Lord wants me. See, basically, we need to pause and introspect. Maybe rather than taking the gun and shooting off a few bullets or whatever, cursing him and things like that. See, these are some core values that we have to learn to accept. And when that is genuine Vaishnava, then such a person will naturally and spontaneously display the highest level of Vaishnava, the Paramahamsa level of Vaishnava etiquette. You'd say, okay, something happened, I lost my money, something happened, this. No, I'm not saying we become indifferent and we become casual. No, but something, in spite of our best efforts, whatever happens, we should have that courage to say that it is the will of the Lord. Something Krishna wants to teach me, something I have done, something Krishna is warning me out of this, rather than chastising Indra, fighting with Indra, quarreling with Indra, taking revenge on Indra. Krishna is saying, in other words, Vishnu is telling Prithu, that's a Chakravyuha type of thing. It sucks you down into more and more degradation. So, like, if you look at it, if you were to analyze the Srimad Bhagavatam, or let's say even the Ramayana or Mahabharata, here and there are mentions. It says that the Lord was so careful in all his dealings that he wanted to be referred to as the person whose thoughts, words, deeds are full of gentleness, compassion, for a willingness to wholeheartedly forgive. And there's something about forgiving also. The Lord said, there's something called wholeheartedly forgiving and superficially forgiving. So there's something called wholeheartedly forgiving, which means to actually think. This is something we know. Someone who criticizes us, we should understand that he's probably he's your best friend in a manner of speaking. Because he's trying to point out what in you is irritating to him or to the world, or he's doing you a favor. Someone who comes and says, Prabhuji, you said this and I was a little upset that day. So we have to hear such things more carefully than we hear appreciation. We should be extremely careful when someone is coming back and to us and giving some feedback and say, Prabhuji, can we, is it possible that I can tell you something and give you a suggestion? Not that we are so stubborn, we are so arrogant, we are so overconfident that people get scared to come and give us drop by and give us suggestions. So if we become so complicated and difficult to deal with, then we're really shutting the door for further improvement or introspection. See, transformation comes by introspection. Introspection is triggered sometimes by our own, the mercy that we get from Vaishnava, Guru, Krishna, Sadhana. Sometimes it's triggered by an external event like this, an external event which pushes you to sit down and do. Like Dhruva, in Dhruva's case, it happened like that. He was forced to introspect, he was forced to think about what happened in his life, etc. So basically, we have to understand that the value system or what we believe in makes us ultimately, we are products of what we believe in passionately. We behave according to what we believe in. We act, conduct ourselves, etc., according to what we believe in, what we really are. They say that this big thing, they say, to take oranges and squeeze them hard, orange juice comes out. Harder, orange juice. More harder, orange juice. More harder, you get mango juice? No, orange juice only. More harder, nothing will come. So basically, you don't get mango juice out of an orange. So similarly, we have to think, what is the what is the magic? I mean, what is this formula? How do we actually learn to imbibe these kind of values deep inside our heart? So I gave you the example of Yuva Maharaj and his mother, and then I gave you an example of Priti. And then see, basically, we also have to understand that practically this kind of incidents are there all scriptures everywhere, liberally there. It's just that we need an Acharya like Srila Prabhupada to come and teach us and show us how do we understand this Leela, what do we make out of this Leela, etc. Like for example, the spirit of forgiving, like we saw in the example of Guru Maharaj's case. His mother says, don't worry, let karma, fate, time take care of them. Actually, Lord Chaitanya goes to the other extreme. Maybe Suniti would have said that as per Kala, karma, something, whatever they're destined to, they may or may not face. That's up to Krishna. Lord Chaitanya goes to the other extreme of Vaishnava etiquette. What would he do when someone does a mistake? What would he do? Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Lord Chaitanya, in many instances, Lord Chaitanya actually prays for them. He says, they don't know what they're doing. Please forgive them. Please forgive them. Don't look at the wrongs they have done. Only see the right that they're potentially capable of doing. Let us say that at that given point of time, they had no good quality at all. Then Lord Chaitanya would pray on their behalf and say, look at what right they can potentially do when they become a nice devotee, how much they can change, how much service they will do. When they become a nice devotee, imagine how they will behave. So please excuse them. Please excuse them. So, I mean, which is why it is said that Vaishnava etiquette is not about, very nice tilak or not just about that. It's about understanding that we need to become different human beings. In other words, we need to understand that there is a plan of the Lord in this world. And what is the plan of the Lord? What is the plan of the Lord? There is a plan of the Lord. The Lord's plan is to see that we become gentle, we become very caring, we become tolerant, we become patient, etc. We become nice devotees, so it's easy for the Lord to take us back to his hometown or homeland or whatever. So there is the plan of the Lord, which is why many things happen the way they're happening. It's not that in anybody's life something just randomly goes on. That's what it may appear like at times, but nothing happens in a devotee's life randomly. You can take it. Nothing ever happens in a devotee's life randomly without any problem. Or even if something happens, there's something there for us to learn. There's something in it for all of us to learn. Now, like that, if you look at so many other scriptures, every incident. So what I did was I went through some specific pastimes, etc. But out of that, I compiled a list of, while preparing for this, for this meeting with all of you, I was going through, the Bhagavad Gita and a little bit the Ramayana also. So then I just started making a list of qualities that are very prominently present in every ideal good Vaishnava. Very prominently present. So I thought I'd just make a list of all those qualities, share them with you, so that there should be some specific takeaways from this time that you're spending here today. Specific takeaways for you in terms of something that's easy to relate and remember. So one of the qualities that is so prominently seen in all Vaishnavas is the quality of tolerance. Now, what do we mean by tolerance? I mean, see, Vaishnava, in our discussions on Vaishnava etiquette, we can't separate these qualities. Please understand. What I said is that if you squeeze an orange, the harder, only orange juice will come. Unless we have these qualities, when time or karma or kala squeezes us, then our true nature may come out. So we forget everything about Vaishnava Etiquette, etc. So deep down inside, we have to develop these qualities. The first, most prominent quality that I see among all these leaders and pastors that I went through is the quality of tolerance. What do we mean by tolerance?
Being merciful to others, like being compassionate to others, and
No, tolerance is not being merciful to others.
Accepting the mistakes.
You're suffering. See, tolerance means you are the one who's going through pain, suffering, humiliation, insult. So tolerance also means that somehow you have to tell yourself, maybe this is a plan of the Lord. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I was a bad mother-in-law, father-in-law, boss. Something I must have been, or a bad student, or a bad thing. Something I must have done in my life, this life, last life, some life, which is why this is happening to me. So let me just, you're called and someone who is working with you is very angry with you. Somebody chastises, somebody does this, somebody does that. Well, of course, I have a word of caution. These are qualities that we practice in a community of devotees. In the outside world, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur says, we have to be careful. We can't behave like this in the outside world. A whole different value system operates there, unfortunately. But so tolerance means to tell yourself that there must be some reason why this is happening to me. I'm chanting, I'm doing this, but maybe something Krishna wants me to learn. Something Krishna wants to teach me. So let me just think quietly. And maybe when you remember that you weren't good to somebody, you unnecessarily became angry, you mistook somebody's intention. That's something. Because nothing happens in a devotee's life without a purpose. Nothing happens in a devotee's life which is accidental. Everything has a purpose. So one of the most important quality that the verses, the same Dhruva Maharaj's example. Years later, when he is the king, his brother got killed when he went to the forest to hunt. He got killed. Dhruva Maharaj became so extremely angry. He said, "How dare you kill my brother?" And it so happened that there was one Yaksha who killed Dhruva Maharaj's brother, Uttama. No, what's his name? Uttama, yes. Who killed some Yaksha. So Dhruva Maharaj becomes so intolerably angry that he goes to the forest and shows his full prowess and power as a Kshatriya, mighty Kshatriya, and starts annihilating the Yakshas. Because one Yaksha did a mistake. So basically the scriptures are saying, no, don't react like that. Please don't react like that. You're not Krishna, you're not called to take decisions, you're not called to pass judgments or anything. Think carefully, reflect, be cautious. Tolerate some things like this. They may inevitably happen in the course of time in this material world. Because by the way, if we are born in this material world in Kali Yuga, our only saving grace is that we are born at a time when Lord Chaitanya appeared and there was this ISKCON movement. Otherwise, we don't have, I cannot confidently say that we were all pious or this or that. I don't know. At least about me, I can say. I don't come under that category. I come under those things that accidentally, somehow we appeared here when Lord Chaitanya's mission is still actively going on. So we have a truckload, a burden or a load of karma that we have done. Wrong things, very, very wrong things, nasty things that we have done. So what is happening to us is well deserved. Actually, the scriptures say what is happening to us is just a token of what should actually happen to us. A token, a small symbolic token of what should actually happen. So one has to be tolerant. If one is not tolerant and hasty, he's actually complicating his life. He'll probably end up making a bigger mess than he started with. So one of the qualities that I found that are common is the quality of tolerance. Now tell me, what is tolerance?
Accepting the situation.
Yes. Reflect, introspect, tell yourself. No, that doesn't mean you don't take remedial steps. You take, but not with bitterness and anger and mood of revenge. He should not have done that. She should not have done that. She should have said that. Okay. That's one way of doing things. Another way of doing things is, okay, what has happened. Maybe I did something wrong. Let me think about it carefully. Pray to Krishna, say, where did I go wrong? And I tell you something, we can go wrong very, very easily because we are hasty. We believe too much in ourselves. We believe too much in the way we think, especially if somebody is a little successful and he or she thinks no end of themselves. They think they have all the answers to all the problems in this world. They think they can even do a better job than Indra or Chandra or whatever. That's okay. Even if they're a little successful. And imagine somebody like that has a reverse. How would you will be tolerance? Yes.
We are more tolerant. We are taking the advantage of that one and making more and more and more. So, if we attract that one,
I said that. See, in Vaishnava community, one has to be tolerant. Of course, there are limits to this. So we don't generally decide. We check with somebody. We check with the most senior devotee. Prabhu, brahmachari comes and says, Prabhu, see, because I'm tolerant and I don't say anything, these people come and dump their dirty clothes in my bucket. So because I end up washing them, now it's become a pattern. Everybody dumps all their clothes all the time into my bucket, and whole day, morning to night, all I'm doing is washing clothes. Some brahmachari may feel like that. So, which is why there is guru, there is an acharya, there is somebody who's check with them in a humble state of mind, not in very critical state of mind, not very bitter and angry. What do they think of me? If they think I'm a watcherman or something, by the way, I'm not like that. I'm not even born in that caste. I'm a this and that. Something like that. Why do they do this to me? Why not? Go and talk to somebody. They will tell you there is a spirit of tolerance is there. But where it is to be applied and where to draw the line, someone more experienced will guide you. Where it is to be applied and where to draw the line, someone will tell you. Also, you see, you must understand one thing. Deep down inside, we have to have that conviction. Nobody can exploit anybody easily without Krishna's permission. You know what I mean? There's something there. When things get too bad for you, Krishna will interfere. You can be very, very sure the Lord will interfere. But if it is happening, repeatedly, or somebody is trying to do something, you have to understand that maybe maybe it's neutralizing some of my previous karma or something like that. So, where to apply tolerance and where to draw a line. So, Vaishnava etiquette or Vaishnava Sadachar, Vaishnava behavior, if the spirit of tolerance is not inbuilt into a person's thinking patterns, there is a problem there. I mean, what can I say? So, no matter what the provocation is, you reflect over it. Don't overreact. Don't react first. Think there's always some reason for something to happen in the way it's happening. The next quality I thought was there is another quality that is so important in all the Vaishnavas is the quality of tapasya. Now you might say, what connection between tapasya and Vaishnava etiquette? Tapasya means what? Tapasya means what? Austerity means what?
sacrifice.
Pardon me? Okay, voluntarily giving up things which are not beneficial. Voluntarily giving up things for somebody else which are beneficial to you also. That is also austerity. Voluntarily.
Voluntarily doing things which we like more and avoiding it.
That's also austerity.
It's like a sacrifice.
Actually, the Shastric meaning of the word tapasya is willing to take hardships for the larger benefit of the world, for the larger benefit of mankind. Willing to take personal hardships for the larger benefit of mankind. Say, for example, we say Vishwamitra was conducting those sacrifices for which he wanted protection from Lord Rama. He wasn't doing these sacrifices for himself. So when you are not the beneficiary of what you are doing, then we can say this man has quality of tapasya. You or your family are not the direct or even indirect beneficiaries you're doing. Say, for example, somebody is sick, some Vaishnava is sick. Somebody has to stay in the hospital, take care of. Maybe wash his clothes and help him in different ways, he or she in different ways. I don't have to do it. I'm not. But a Vaishnava does that. He goes, he volunteers. He says, Prabhu, I'll take care. Tonight, you people, you've been taking care from whole day. You please take rest. Your child is like my child. I will stay in the hospital tonight. So that's called tapasya. Tapasya means volunteering to take some hardship, knowing fully well that some other person is going to get the benefit of our. So we take additional hardships for larger good of the world. So Vishwamitra was actually conducting this sacrifice to purify this entire to the world, people of the world, and so on, not for himself. He was already a Rajarshi, he was already a Brahmarshi also. Vishwamitra by that time had become a Brahmarshi also. What else is there for him to achieve? There was nothing else left for him to achieve. But he would still do these tapasya. He would still do these sacrifices and homas and India because he said that will purify, that will bring auspiciousness, that will purify, that will bring auspiciousness to the lives of all the people. That's called tapasya. Tapasya means you know very well that the beneficiary is going to be the society, fellow Vaishnavas, etc. So what's the meaning of tapasya?
Going hardships on the larger side of society.
Somebody who's willing to sacrifice anything in the service of his Guru Vaishnavas, Guru Krishna, Guru Gauranga Krishna Vaishnavas is willing to sacrifice anything. You can call him any time of the day or night. Call him and say, hey Prabhu, one of the devotees fell sick. Sometimes, I mean, in our temple there is 50, 60 devotees. Sometimes suddenly in the night someone falls sick. So we have to shift him or her to the hospital, typically to the hospital or something. We all know there's this one person that we call who never say no. Middle of the night or anything, jump into his car, drive down, come here, help us. So that's tapasya. He's willing to take tapasya for the larger good. For the larger good. That is the meaning of tapasya. Tapasya means he's available. So, see, actually, all these qualities are like ornaments that a Vaishnava wears. I can't use the word wears also, because wears means it's something external that you're wearing. We wear jewelry. But these are qualities that are building blocks of a Vaishnava. They're integral parts and parts of the Vaishnava. Like we said, we're part and parcel of Krishna. So these qualities are the building blocks that make a Vaishnava what he is, makes him do what he does. Tolerance. Like, for example, some devotee here mentioned to me that they have this problem once in a while and then they don't know where to go to, and then generally pick up some senior devotee who is willing to hear, etc., etc., etc. So, like that, someone who's willing to sacrifice. Okay, now the next quality is sacrifice. Actually, tapasya and sacrifice are, you could say, similar, but sacrifice also refers to tapasya is willingness to take personal hardships for larger good of the world. Sacrifice is, what is sacrifice? What is sacrifice? Yes, complete it. There you are. You get the subtle difference. Sacrifice means relinquishing something that is rightfully yours. Rightfully yours. You've earned it. It's yours. You worked hard. Nobody else's. You work hard all your month, you got your salary, you've done your business, you've earned a lot of money. That is rightfully yours because of your hard work, your endeavor, your business, or whatever. You're sacrificing means you're giving it to somebody. Tapasya is different. Tapasya is little. Do you understand the difference between tapasya and sacrifice? Tell me what the difference is. Tapasya means? Yeah.
We don't need to give away anything, but we need to undergo hardship for some time.
We are willing to undergo hardships if that's going to benefit another Vaishnava. That's what tapasya is. It is not selfish driven. It's not driven by selfishness. I'm willing to undergo any hardship in order to serve Guru, Krishna, Vaishnava. What is sacrifice? How do we define sacrifice? Relinquishing what is rightfully yours for the benefit of whatever. In the service of Krishna, in the service of Guru, in the service of Vaishnava. That's what sacrifice. So these are building blocks of the Vaishnava. You can't separate the Vaishnava from these qualities. These are building blocks. These are that's what a Vaishnava is made up of. A genuine Vaishnava is made up of these qualities. I want to stop here, short break, and then we'll continue. Any questions?
I mean,
Yeah.
to what extent we have to over endeavor and lead it to a point that yes, I have done my part and rest is God's plan. To what extent we have to over endeavor anything?
See, it's like this. When it comes to the service of Guru, Guru's mission, other Vaishnavas, Scripture said there's nothing called over endeavor. Because whatever you do is less than what you actually deserve to do, what your Guru deserves, what other Vaishnavas deserve. In spiritual life, in spiritual activities, of course, you have to see how much my body can tolerate, etc. But otherwise, philosophically speaking, when you are serving Guru and Krishna, we engage in the service of Krishna, we never draw a line and say, this is all I will do, I cannot do more than this. We don't do that. Because whatever we are, we owe it to our Guru. Whatever we are, it's because of the mercy of our Guru. What we are is what our Guru has given, what Krishna has given. So when it comes to serving Krishna, there's no limit. Wait, let me go. One.
For both, especially applicable for a devotee and non-devotee.
No. Non-devotee. Definitely not. The Shastras don't speak so much about showing these ones. See, Prabhupada generally said, you can't say no to a beggar. Someone comes begging, give him something. Generally, don't say no. I mean, the scriptures say, don't say no to it. So, give him something. But, you see, the law of karma operates very intricately. Now, if you give something to somebody, and let's say he engages that resource of money that they have given in doing some sinful activity, it is said that you have become the enabler. And maybe some of that reaction will come on you. One has to be very careful and cautious, which is why Prabhupada also would say, don't give money, give them something to eat. Engage them, give them a job, give them something to eat. So we have to be careful and cautious. We can't blindly apply this principle. But when it comes to service of Guru, you can't draw a line and say, this is all I will do and not more, and nothing more. Ideally speaking, when it comes to service of Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas, until your body falls down out of fatigue and you just collapse. I mean, collapse means you're there, you're available, you're trying your best. In addition to doing, you're also praying. Actually, you're grateful that Krishna is engaging you in that way. Ideal example of such engagement is Hanuman. He never gave up. There's no such thing as giving up. There's no such thing as overdoing. There's nothing. Hanuman, whatever Rama would tell, he would do. Whatever, at any point of time, the Lord would say, he would do. So, among the Vaishnavas, among the devotees, this quality is fully manifest. But in our dealings with non-devotees, one has to be careful, one has to be cautious. And where to draw the line, that's up to us. See, like you rightly said, if we display this, recently I read a quote. This is, be careful. Don't put on your Vaishnava, etc. everywhere indiscriminately. That would be a little silly actually. Don't do this. Or shall we say that would be a little bit Sahajiya type. You don't even have doors and windows to your house or whatever. No, we don't do all that. We treat everything as Krishna's property and it has to be engaged in Krishna's service. To that extent, we want to preserve what you have also from being stolen, etc. One has to be careful with non-devotees. A way to draw the line requires some experience or requires consulting. But generally, don't go by your opinion alone. That's risky because we have our own carry forward anarthas. We have prejudice, we become angry, we become vengeful, we become revengeful, and so on. So always verify what you do with some other more experienced, mature people. Okay. Any other question? Yes, bro.
Prabhuji, even after coming to the devotional service, like the person is some mistakes. So how do we know that it is a plan of Krishna or it is because of my weakness or my weakness? Because of the mistakes, what you are doing, you may not have something. So because of that, there will be some consequences. And at the same time, we know that everything is happening with the world. So how do you differentiate?
You see, when it is clearly established that you've done a mistake, first thing is you have to apologize. I mean, as sincerely, as wholeheartedly as possible, rather than stubbornly arguing your case. Apologize, seek pardon, etc., etc. Especially when this is being pointed out by a more senior devotee, more experienced devotee, more mature devotee, a guru, or something like that. So we apologize. But that doesn't mean we don't offer our version. I am sorry for what has happened. I genuinely regret. But this is the reason why I did what I did. Sometimes it is good to explain your perspective. Or your guru or somebody might ask me, tell me why you did that. What happened? You don't generally behave like that. Why did you end up becoming so angry? Why did you slap this guy? Why did you do this? Whatever. The guru may give you a chance. But it is always good that one maintains a humble position and then accepts a mistake. Sometimes we accept a mistake that's not done by us also. We say, okay, if you think it was a mistake on my part, I'll accept it. For your sake, I'll accept it and kindly forgive me. Which is why Vaishnava will say, it's a very genuine statement. He said, knowingly or unknowingly or accidentally committed mistakes, kindly forgive me. Don't hold it in your heart. Don't hold it. Please forgive me. This is such a glorious quality of the Vaishnava. Unknowingly also, if I have done, kindly forgive me. So that's what we say. So we check, we generally check with somebody who's guiding us, who's mentoring us, something like that, as to how we should understand these things when they happen. One of the things that's spoken about Yudhishthira is that he was so gentle. Is that it is said that if Duryodhana at any point of time had come to him and said, I did a mistake, or whatever, I shouldn't have done this, but what to do? I developed so much attachment to this entire kingdom, Hastinapura and Indraprastha. I want both of them to be mine. I don't want to give it up. It is said that Yudhishthira would have probably excused Duryodhana and he would give us the kingdom. He said, all right, we lived for 13 years in the forest and as 1 year as whatever, mendicants. Don't worry about us, we'll leave. You'll be happy. If that's going to make you happy, you'll be happy. So this is what is said about Yudhishthira. So Bhima and Draupadi and others were always worried that with Duryodhana, knowing fully well, that Duryodhana were to come to Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira will bless and forgive and give it away. They would always be worried, what if he comes? But Krishna would say, no, he won't come. That's not his nature. He's not a Vaishnava inside out. He won't even have the humility to bend his head in front of Yudhishthira, knowing fully well, if we do that, we'll get everything. Duryodhana won't do that. He won't, so we could relax. He'll never come and ask for things. It won't happen. Like that. So, Yudhishthira is glorified millions of years after he finished his Leela and went away. But today we talk about Yudhishthira. We talk about him as an example. So we should learn the art of forgiveness. Okay, the next quality is, what did we see? What are the three qualities? Okay. Yeah, you had a question.
Someone asked about the 9th law and serving. So what is the 9th law
What is the line we should draw when we are studying for exams or something? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Your parents are here.
Yes.
They're here. See, everybody goes to school, whether you like or not, Unfortunately. Like the olden days, they would all go to the Gurukul. But see, the problem with Indian schooling system is they don't help you become very good at what you want to become. I want to be a photographer, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be something else. They're not designed in such a manner that they will help you become a very good photographer. They don't give you the courage to become what you really want to become, what you like to become. They want you to conform. Conform means the society is moving at that point of time in a particular direction. No biotechnology or no pharmacy or no something, whatever. Various points of time, whatever is the eating the society makes. The peer pressure, that kind of thing will happen. But we also have to understand as young kids, you don't have the maturity to choose carefully. You don't have. So there has to be rich balance. Parents can talk to kids. But ultimately, the kid has to say, all right, this is what I feel like doing, this is what I want to do. But you know better. Because there's something called Anubhava. Anubhava means experience. So that has more weightage than because that when we're kids, sometimes we like football, sometimes we like to watch IPL, sometimes different things happen in our life. Someone else brings a roller skates to the school, we will say, I want to do that. And recently there's a chess Olympiad in Chennai. Let's say, okay, I want to learn chess, something like that. Kids also tend to be a very what is the right word? Yeah, tend to get influenced and carried away by different phenomena that's happening in this world. But there has to be a rich balance. And I've seen generally in devotee circles, they talk. They talk to children. They say, what do you want to be? What do you like being? Because, because, I mean, how can, we can't just force a kid to become something because, for our sake or something like that. So devotees are careful. Generally speaking, they're careful. They talk to a kid, they ask, they explain, they make him understand. But that's the ideal situation. Ideal situation. And sometimes the other extreme also, the kid doesn't cooperate, or sometimes the parents are too forceful. So, Dronacharya could understand Bhima would be good at wrestling, Arjuna at archery, Yudhishthira in driving chariots, Nakula in something, and Sahadeva in something else. He could recognize and he schooled them in such a way that they became the best in that particular area. So there's a period when the teacher assesses a student and takes a call, takes a very responsible call. What is it that you're going to be good at? And let's help you become good at that. The teacher takes a call. Of course, for that they even look at the horoscope, different things to do. But see, Kali Yuga, everything is mixed up. We can only say best of the bad bargain. So best is when the kid is coming into 15, 16 or 17 or 18, sit together with parents, be responsible. Hopefully at that age, the kid also will understand the gravity of the decisions that he's making. So when we see that type of maturity in a child, then the parents also will give that opportunity. When we see that type of seriousness, commitment, maturity, then the parents will say, all right, he knows what he's doing. Let him do it. But if they don't see that type of maturity, and they see that the kid is swinging from one dislike to something, then it's better that for the kid to be under the shelter of the parents. But the parents also have to watch out. Things are changing. Sometimes we force a kid to do something like leaves a deep scar in their psyche. They can't forget it, nor will they forgive for a long time. Parents also have to be cautious. Is that okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not so good at parenting, but I only have one daughter. You will become a devotee if you want a good friend in your life. You can become a devotee when you want someone, the most powerful person in this whole universe to become your protector, your friend, your well-wisher, your guide, your buddy, whatever. When you want the most powerful, most loving, most handsome, most compassionate, most forgiving person in this whole universe to become your friend and protector and guide, etc. Because you want your Christian. See, nobody is complete in that sense. All of us need some help and assistance at various points of life. So, like Krishna, that you fill up the blanks in your life at all points of time. When it was required, Krishna became a messenger. When it was required, Krishna became a protector. When it was required, Krishna became the chariot driver. When it was required, he became a mediator. Anything for you, Krishna is willing to do. So, when you're convinced that you want someone like that by your side in this world, so you can take on the world, you become a devotee. But if you think, you're almost just miss being the Superman or something like that, and you can become like that, then maybe you want to feel that you need Krishna as your friend. Nobody loses by having Krishna as his friend. Okay? All right, any other question? Yeah.
Probably like Hanuman is also like immortal. Why are we not able to see them?
Why?
Why are we unable to see them?
You see, they are great yogis, siddhas, mystic power they have. We can see them when they wish to manifest, not otherwise. But otherwise, all right, let's say when somebody sees Hanuman, what do you think people will ask him?
For an autograph.
Huh? I didn't get what you said.
Autograph.
Selfie. That's the English. So when someone becomes a serious devotee, will not manifest. Like in front of Prithu Maharaj, Krishna appeared. I mean Vishnu. But Daksha was in deep trouble. The Lord appeared there in the sacrificial arena. He comes when the devotees are in deep trouble. He comes. So not just Hanuman, the Lord can appear in front of anybody by his willing, by his choosing. But generally, the Lord is so compassionate that to love for his devotees, he appears. Guru Maharaj, Japataka Maharaj said that appearance of the Lord in front of you and the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, that Vigraha in the temple, they are non-different. You should not look at them as being different. If you look at them as being different, it's some kind of an offense. That means that is Krishna. That is not an image of Krishna. You understand the difference? That is not a representation of Krishna. That Vigraha is not a representation of Krishna. That is Jagannath. That is Krishna. That is Madan Mohan. That is Radharani. Non-different. So when you see them, you can be sure that is the Lord seeing you. Why? Because the pure devotee is called him and said, please be present in this form. We all want to serve you. We all want to serve you, worship you. So Archa Avatar, it's also known as Archa Avatar, also known as Archa Vigraha. That form which allows us the facility to see him, offer seva to him, decorate him, do shringar, offer prayers. Any prayer you offer to the deity, accept it. Alright? Because he's non-different. So you feel like seeing Krishna, come to the temple. You want to see Hanuman, go to the Rama temple. A properly installed Rama temple where Hanuman is there. You can say, that's Hanuman.
But probably like one time, what is the form Mahavishnu? But why did he go in front of him?
Yeah. Why did Krishna display universal form in front of any universal form in front of Duryodhana? See, you could say that at that point of time, Krishna ran out of all options. He tried one last, the Brahmastra type, one last option. All right. Now I will show without any doubt. I hope Duryodhana will now at least be convinced that I am that original Supreme Lord. The whole world is under me. Maya Dekshena Prabhuji. I am that one single Supreme Lord. And everything is happening as per my order. You are nothing in front of me. You're not even an ant. So, as a last resort, the Lord displays in the hope that Duryodhana will desist from fighting and his dear devotees, Pandavas, don't have to go through this anxiety of fighting. Don't have to go through the anxiety of fighting. And maybe there's a chance that if Duryodhana listens, he can forgive Duryodhana and let Duryodhana live. Some kind of win-win formula is brought out. Duryodhana has a part of the kingdom, the Pandavas also have part of the kingdom. So at the last resort, actually, it appears like the Lord does it out of anger, but he does it out of compassion for Duryodhana. He wants Duryodhana to take this chance and say, oh my God, I always thought you're just a cowherd boy, running behind cows and calves and had so many girlfriends and this and that. That's what I thought. And I also thought, Duryodhana says in the Mahabharata, he says, what do you know? He's just a magician who escaped from Vrindavan. Why should we be scared of him? Some magic he showed. He thinks we'll not be convinced by this. That's because of envy. Some magic he shows, and he thinks we'll not be convinced and give up this war or fight or something. No way. Arrest him. After all that, it had practically very little impact on Duryodhana. Very little impact on him. But the Lord tries. Even then he tries to say, at least out of fear, don't trouble my devotees, Pandavas. Take some peace from the live. My Pandavas, I have to protect. Okay. How much time I have? We'll stop 5-10 minutes. Yeah. Regarding?
Society, there are so many things happening. Perhaps political people are like defense. They are looting not much people. So as we are able to so how to deal with them. So we need to calm and we need to see everything God will take.
See, Prabhupada said, all right, some of you can go and contest elections, but unless we have the numbers, better wait till then. In an election, numbers are important. And work on getting the numbers. Then contest an election or do something. Prabhupada wanted this world to be run by devotees. But he said, first build the numbers. What you can, one person, you can write something on the social media nowadays. Honestly, tell me who will care. I mean, sometimes somebody cares, but what is the impact? So we first have to focus on building the numbers, that is, number of devotees. Then genuine change can happen. I believe Prabhupada had said, even if 1 in 100 people become a devotee, then we can change this world. 1 in 100 becomes a devotee. Until then, we have to be patient. All of it. Okay, we have to wait. Okay. Now, the other quality I mentioned, the genuine building blocks of a proper Vaishnava conduct are tolerance, sacrifice. The next quality that I found when I was reading on this is a quality of forgiving, ability to forgive. Ability to forgive. Why is it important? Genuinely forgive. Why is it important? We'll peace. Yeah. Make peace with yourself, make peace with your destiny, make peace with this world. Otherwise, it has a long-term impact on the way you think. Oh, he did this, he spoke this, he said this to him. You'll always be brooding over it, thinking about it. You genuinely forgive. So that way, it's the whole episode, everything is history, it's past. If we don't forgive, it is present continuous tense. You know what I mean? Please thinking about that person or that incident. Get it? Whatever happened is happened. Carry on with your life. I'm not taking it very seriously. So the spirit of forgiveness. Also, this is necessary in Vaishnava dealings. Vaishnava etiquette means a person should be willing to forgive one another. Today, someone else does the mistake. What's the guarantee that you or I won't do that mistake? What's the guarantee that we don't do mistakes? Anybody can do. Anybody can slip in this tricky, slippery road. Anybody can slip at any time. Just learn the art of forgiveness. You know what Jesus Christ had said? What did he say? Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. That means learn to forgive. Because hopefully someday when you do something wrong, God will forgive you. That's it, okay. You did so much nice. एक गलती तो किया कौन गलती नहीं करता है so they look at you in a very different way who does this but if you go after somebody without forgiving what will they say then remember that you're a very ungrateful person huh they'll remember so that's called vendetta vindictiveness vendetta these qualities don't go well with Vaishnava etiquette. Vendetta means trying to take personal revenge. Or even feeling like that. Forget about taking it. You shouldn't even feel, just forget it. Baba, he had a bad day. Maybe he fought with his wife or boss or then came and he met me. And so we had a bad day. Leave it at that. This is called gracefulness in behavior. Just forgive. All right, don't worry. I'm not taking it seriously. That's called forgiveness. I just mentioned two other qualities and then we'll stop. The other quality I found was adherence to dharma. What do we mean by that? See, Vaishnava etiquette again, for me, you can't separate from some being dharmic. What is that? What does it mean? Yeah. Dharmic, yes, doing prescribed duties, following Vedic injunctions, following authority, following instructions. See, dharmic also means, in its true sense of the term, dharmic means following, of course, scripture with their rules, but in a true sense of the term, dharmic means to look at any situation, one from dharma, for perspective of scripture, but as taught to you by your guru. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference, there's a subtle difference. We cannot just read on our own and come to our own conclusions and come to our own judgments. Dharmic means, actually, the word dharmic means here is a person who thinks carefully before he reacts or says something. Who thinks, what does the scripture say? How is it supposed to react in a situation like this? What would be more pleasing to my guru, Vaishnava, my authority? Like Lilananda Prabhuji said, my authority. What would be pleasing? Dharmic means he will set aside his personal preferences, ideas, prejudices, temptation to judge, prematurely judge everything. Nothing is there in his thinking. Just go by what does the scripture say. What does the authority say? For him, that becomes the way he judges. I remember we had one hot debate in one of our HTMC meetings. We had a big debate about something. Then I wondered when Radhesham Prabhu said, this debate has happened many times in the past also. One time I was there and this debate happened, this argument happened in the presence of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, my guru. And I just went by whatever is. Sometimes the scriptures can be interpreted in multiple ways. So what do you do then? So how do we understand about dharmic? Dharmic means to learn the scripture in accordance with the mood of your guru. Dharmic means to understand the scripture according to that. Yeah, quick question, quickly. Pardon me? I didn't get what you said. Who is the guru? See, right now, until you have a proper guru, like many of us have gurus, you treat your parents, if they are devotees, treat your parents as guru. Treat your parents as guru. But who is a guru is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, how to choose a guru, how to accept a guru, how to worship a guru, how to follow instructions of a guru, how do we select a guru is given in the Bhagavad Gita, given in various other scriptures. Till such time you have a guru who comes who fits into that kind of a system parampara, follow your parents. You read the scripture, follow your parents. Thank you. Okay, one more quality. I hope I'm not disappointed you, but I'm saying what needs to be said.
Yeah.
All right. Another quality of a person, a devotee, is a devotee should always be following some authority. Should always be following some authority. It's a basic Vaishnava etiquette. You can't be a free, standalone devotee, don't follow anybody. The only connection you had with your guru was the day of initiation, you took the beads, this, that. That's the last time you see him. That's, standalone devotee. So. And somebody asks me, say, no, he's too busy, he's got too many disciples, so I don't want to trouble him. I don't want to trouble him. So independent devotees they create problems for themselves. Vaishnava etiquette means he has an authority. So if you have a problem with it, you can tell him or you can tell his authority. Of course, it's genuinely following Vaishnava authority. Genuinely following Vaishnava. He has a bona fide active authority, not passive authority. Passive authority means he's not here, you can't communicate to him, he's so busy or whatever. No. He's an active authority. Somebody you can talk to about him or her or something. Then you can advise, talk, discuss, etc. Show an active authority. And generally, the more, what shall I say? The more stronger your authority is, the better it is for us. We may want somebody who's very favorable to us or whatever. That cannot be a very intelligent thing to do. Select an authority. It's like you want to learn some game, some sports. You want to choose a coach or a mentor or somebody. Who do you choose? You choose someone who bring the best out of you. You won't think that, no, I have to choose someone who says, doesn't matter, get the come at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. You want someone who said, no, I want you to be here at 4 a.m. And 1 minute late, I'll make you run 100 times or 100 push-ups or something. An authority, but actually Vaishnava is very compiled. But there are times when Vaishnavas are very strict also. Okay, like that. So there were some more qualities, but unfortunately, what can I do? I tried got delayed. Krishna's plan. I had a couple of more stuff, but we'll stop here because I think we have to do Damodar Ashtaka prayers. It's too late. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. I offer my heartfelt prayers to Sri Radha Madan Mohan, to Guru Prabhupada, to Prabhupada, to Jagannath Brothers, Krishna Gauranitai, all the Vaishnavas of the world, and all of you should be blessed, and all of you should become wonderful devotees, become very dear to Krishna, very dear to Guru, very dear to the whole world. This is my humble prayer. Thank you.
Let us all enthusiastically thank for the Krishna Prabhuji 3 loud Haribol. So every time Prabhuji comes here, even last time when he came, he spoke about Vaishnava etiquettes, and today the pretext that he kept is etiquettes are internal. If you don't have them, you can't show them. And the stories and so many realizations that Prabhuji brought forward, I'm sure they all touched our life. And we all have to introspect. Are we really imbibing those qualities? Or at least have we started endeavoring to imbibe those qualities? I personally felt very, very touched by some of the examples you gave, Prabhuji. Very, very grateful. And Prabhuji himself follows many of those qualities.
I'm trying to.
I feel that always. No, he was, in fact, today he was traveling. I didn't know that he was traveling. Still, he made it here. Somehow he made it here. And whatever little time that we got from Prabhuji is our asset. And we request Prabhuji to please visit us. And we will keep inviting Prabhuji. So please, Prabhuji, please give your association to us. And for some of you who don't know, who are seeing Prabhuji first time, Prabhuji has been managing temples in and big congregations in our society. In fact, in Bangalore, Prabhuji manages the whole temple, and also he is part of the temple management of ISKCON Hyderabad. And he travels back and forth. He has a family, and I'm sure with family comes so many other things, but still managing everything and also serving Srila Prabhupada. An ideal example for all of us to also think about retiring like Prabhuji. Retiring as in not retiring working when you retire for Prabhupada, right? So I also want to share something important that we in Gachibowli, we have been preaching, we have been serving, we are, I'll say, in a small way growing, right, as a community. And it's wonderful to see, when devotees are growing. But Prabhuji also has been saying that it's about time you also have a center. It's about when Prabhuji is here, I don't want to miss, I don't want to miss that point that he made even last time when I spoke to him. He said, you need to have a center here. You need to have a place which belongs to Prabhupada and which you can serve people in a wide way. Not only the people whom we are preaching, but people might just walk in and ask for help. Because who doesn't need help today? You want to say anything? No, finish. Yeah. So we have started that endeavor in a small way. We have started with a name called ISKCON Gachibowli. And Prabhuji is trying to get that name blocked for us. And Subara Prabhu has already started the endeavor of hiring a place for now, a place which is coming up just near to my home, Vihanga. There is a 3-story building. We are going to take some part of it. And then we are also going to go for a little bigger place, which will be a center to start with, where we'll have certain activities, again, following the authority, following the exact stipulations that ISKCON as a society keeps to have a center. We will also follow that. Might also mean some of us giving more hours to make the center a successful center. Some of us taking up some very, very important roles to make sure we serve properly. Because institutionalization of spirituality is very important when you want to see it grow in a very structured way, in a very sustainable way, right? So again, we all have an authority and we'll continue to have an authority and we always will have an authority. And our authority is still Prabhupada and ISKCON under which we all operate. And in Hyderabad, we all as a Satsang, we operate under ISKCON Hyderabad as a satellite center. And in future, we will have more roles to play in the same thing. And it's so nice that all of us are preaching now. And many of us have started the endeavor of preaching and expanding. And there is extreme need for us to have a common place where we start celebrating festivals. Like I'm very grateful to the community here who have allowed us to use this hall here and also the adjacent hall beside where we are using for Prashadam and children classes we are doing there. And a place like this is needed. One good thing about going from community to community is we also get to invite new people whenever we go from community to community. At the same time, we also need to have our own place where we can do many more activities. So let us thank Prabhuji for giving us that idea. And also he is going to be helping us to materialize that idea into a real place where we all can serve Prabhupada in a much, much better way by loudly chanting 3 times Haribol. You want to say anything?
Hare Krishna. I come from Bangalore, so I'm here today from Bangalore. So in Bangalore, we have we call them Bhakti centers or extension centers. We have maybe so they are more like this with one different festival for cooking and a little altar with pictures, and on festival days someone brings greetings. So maybe we have about 20 such Bhakti centers in different parts of Bangalore. So I suggest that the leadership team here to come once to Bangalore one weekend. If it is possible. You just hop from one Bhakti center to another, and you'll be fully convinced that That's the way to go forward. In and around our temple itself, we have 5, 6, which are managed by our temple. So we look for a place hall like this, and like you said, a Prashadam hall and small rooftop where we can cook. And like that, that's how we are expanding. So we gave a report to His Holiness Jagataka Maharaj recently when he was in Bangalore. Everybody thought he'll be very happy, and he said something like, for a city of the size of Bangalore, you need to have at least 100. 80 more to go, he said. See, progressively traveling within the city will become complicated. It's easier to go from Bangalore to Hyderabad than going from Gachibowli to Abbots. A day will come, because it's so irritating to travel within the city. Imagine you have something like this in the neighborhood. Just few minutes walk away or a few minutes drive away. Go there, have satsang, kirtan, arti, prasad, and meet wonderful Vaishnavas and devotees. So I can see that Hyderabad is also very quickly becoming clogged up on the roads like Bangalore. Bangalore, there's no more capacity. There's any street you go, there is traffic jam. That's how it is in Bangalore. I don't see Hyderabad being too far behind. To catch up sooner or later in this one aspect. So imagine there is a place like this in every locality. So one time I remember we were discussing with Dodian Jagataka Maharaj. He said, bring a map of Bangalore, and said that, and then he said, see, no matter where I live in this huge metropolis, whatever, the nearest ISKCON Bhakti Center should not be more than 10 minutes driving time. Really more than 10 minutes driving time. It should be accessible to everybody. See, then when you have a center of your own, the service expands. So I remember first when we went to the Kandamangala area and we turned it into Bhakti Center, it was a broken down cow shed. We made a video and shared it. That's why I said, if you call group leader Praveen, you, one or two more of you should come once to Bangalore, spend a day or a day and a half. I'll be very happy to host you in our temple. Just hop around. One weekend you should come. Weekend is when high drama is there. So you just hop around from one center to center, you will build a. See how many sincere devotees, how many nice devotees. The service expands. So we found an interior designer who does the whole interior, and that little broken down cow shed became such a beautiful place, transformed within 2.5, 3 months with minimum expense, because she's a smart lady. That interior designer, the 16 rounder, she's a very smart lady, very intelligent, and turned the whole thing into such a beautiful place. So that's become the pattern that we're following. That's become the prototype that we are following wherever we go. So I would strongly suggest make one trip to Bangalore. That way you can give us a chance to serve you and take you around, show you the place. And you'll come back here and then you'll say, no, we must have a center very quickly here. When every time I meet Nolan, because he's a GBC of this place, he likes to hear that the last time he came, believe me or not, in spite of his health, he went to Atapu, he went to Rampalli, he went to Kukatpalli. It's impossible for anybody to do. He went to Vaidchal, he went to Secondabad. Every center he visited. He likes that Krishna consciousness is accessible within, like I said, 10 minutes driving time. When he said 80 more to go, then we really realized that he's very serious about it. So whatever little way I can help or assist you all in making this a reality, I would be very happy to do. But I think you can begin by coming to Bangalore. It'll be a very inspiring experience. Just a day and a half. Come on and try Saturday morning and Sunday evening, you can take a train and come back. Which means you'll have to skip one weekend program here, but I would strongly recommend you come. It will be very inspiring for you. Okay? Hare Krishna.
You all inspired? Hare Krishna. So let us once again thank Prabhuji and invite him once again. Prabhuji keeps coming here. We also have a few other just small announcements. November 27th, again as part of our quarterly calling, we also have Radhesham Prabhu coming here on November 27th. So please mark your calendars. That's going to be another Sunday evening. And for that, we already booked a hall in My Home Avatar. Mataji has helped book the hall. And then we also have some traveling devotees who are doing programs. And there is one on Tuesday. There is one brahmachari devotee who is doing some programs. So I'll be sending an invite for that. I know it's a weekday. How many of you can come for how much your time? Please come. It's going to be in our house, Radha Gopi Vallabha's house. So you can please come there and attend. And apart from that, I know that Matajis are really working hard to make the prasadam for 100+ devotees these days, because we don't have our Karthik Prabhu here. For some time, he was cooking for bigger programs. So let us all thank the Mataji Three Lord Haribol. And let's also thank Shilpa Mataji. She's not here. So she's outside. Hare Krishna. There was some problems. She is handling there. So she has been taking permission from the society here to help us do such kind of programs with Three Lord Haribols. No more delay. I know tomorrow is a working day and we have school. So let's do the Damodar Aarti. Rohi, would you like to sing the Damodar Aarti? Or can somebody take Rohi to the restroom? So we'll do the Damodar Aarti. So we all will offer the lamps. The lamps are ready there. Somebody can off the fan. Yeah, there is a Damodar in the bubble. Yeah, so this week, let us see. Next week,
Namaheshwaram Sachidanandarupam Rasakundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namaheshwaram Sachidanandarupam Rasakundalam Gokule Radha-bhamanam Param-vishtamadhyantam Sodita-gopya Rudantam Muhurnetra-yugmam Vijantam Karambodayugmena Shantakalitam Muhurshvasa-sampatre-rekanta Sutta-gevadamodaram Bhakti-vadam Svalila-virananda-kunde Svagosham nimarjantam Matyapayantam Satiyeshi sarvesu patayikasham Puna prema tasam sarta vishivande Param deva moksham na mokshayate वा न चैन्यं वृणीहं वर्षादपीहा